In this video, I want to talk about the material world, some of the criticisms of materialism, but also one of the reasons why we can deeply value the material world. And I want to get into this mostly in terms of the material world as metaphor. So one of the really cool things when I was talking to Deepak Chopra is he actually brought up how the material world and brains and bodies and everything that we associate with this reality is really a metaphor for a deeper reality. And that was such a cool experience because I had talked about that in a couple other videos, particularly when we get at metaphor and we realize the distinction between a symbol and the thing it represents. And that's critical in terms of navigating our way through this reality. And our biggest mistake is to confuse the symbol with the thing. So when Emily Dickinson said, hope is the thing with feathers, there's a sense where you get that the feather is a pointer to something deeper. Or if you say Juliet is the sun, it would be really strange if you took that seriously or literally and stood next to Juliet thinking you were going to get a suntan. We realize when we use metaphors, at least in literature and in poetry, we realize that these are pointers for something deeper. But the trick here is that it's very easy to degrade the symbol then. And so in so much work that I've done, I've talked about the no self idea, and the self is just a symbol. And you don't want to really, a lot of things can go wrong if you confuse the symbol with the genuine thing. And again, a lot can go wrong if you confuse this symbol, this materialism, with something deeper. And that's the thing, is materialism has kind of run its course and it's come under so much criticism because it just doesn't seem to hold up. And I'm not going to get into all the criticisms of materialism, except to say, when you look at what's happened in physics, the quantum physicists have said that when we take this material world apart, all the things that seem real are made from things that are themselves not real. And so that puts us in a tough position. On the other hand, Alan Watts talked about materialism in a very positive way. Because we typically think of materialist as someone who wants material things in the world, really nice cars and huge homes and lots of money, and their bank account looks huge, and all that seems very impressive, right? That's your standard materialist, and we're at a very interesting place where some people are worth $300+ billion, and we say, well, that's a materialist. And I like the way Alan put it, because he said, no, that's not a materialist at all. That's a person who's confusing a symbol for a thing. They're confusing, money for wealth, and they're not even appreciating the material world. A genuine materialist is someone who goes out into nature. A genuine materialist is someone who really digs the sensation of what it is to have this meat suit. Sometimes I refer to that, I think I got that from Joe Rogan, but I'll refer to the body as a meat suit. And that can sound kind of degrading, but I don't think it is. It's a privilege. And as I've talked about, I may have mentioned this in my meditation class, one of the favorite meditations was the body scan. It just feels, it's so bizarre, and we take it for granted because it's just we've been wearing the meat suit so long. But when you become conscious and we stop thinking and you literally become conscious, in the body scan, you start off with your feet and then you just become conscious of the meat suit one part at a time. And that's one of the most popular practices in mindfulness. And the wonderful thing about it is that it gets us out of the thinking mind and gets us back to where we're actually experiencing this reality. And no, it may not be the reality, but it's a fun ride. I think it was, what was it, the 80s? Was it the Cars? If the illusion is real, then give it a ride. And so rather than degrading this world, the material world or materialism or the body or the brain, it's a really cool sensation. And if it's a dream, and so we may say, well, we're waking up from the material world, but if it's a dream, it's a really cool dream that we're having. And we should really appreciate, and we don't have to, but it's a very cool thing to appreciate what it means to be in this reality. just a sensation of going 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, or the sensation of riding a roller coaster, or tasting food, or just taking a breath, or as Alan Watts would talk about, these magnificent jewels that we have as eyes, just to be able to see and experience the senses in this world. As Alan once said, you should get out of your mind at least once a day and come to your senses. And what he was talking about was this material world. So there's nothing wrong with materialism. There's nothing, in the end, we don't want to confuse it with the ground of reality. But if this reality, if this material, if this matter didn't matter, you wouldn't be having this dream at all.